Thomas with Trail Chaser MTB here, and today we're going to do a video that I've been wanting to do for a while now, which is talk about best mountain bike tire combos for enduro. These tire combos are all ones I've ridden myself, and they all also fall into the enduro tire description, which are tires that have big enough knobs and are beefy enough to handle gnarlier or more technical descents, but also aren't too cumbersome or heavy on longer climbs or longer pedal stages if you're racing enduro. We're going to talk about the Maxxis Minion DHF and the Maxxis Aggressor, which I have set up on my bike currently, Specialized Butcher and Specialized Slaughter, which came stock on this bike, and the Schwalbe Magic Mary and Nobby Nic, which I ran on a previous bike. I'm going to tell you a little bit about some things I like about the tires, some things I didn't like as much, and I'm going to tell you which combo is my favorite and why. I'll start with the first of these combos I ran, which was Schwalbe Magic Mary up front and the Nobby Nic in the rear. I ran this combo for about 3 months or so, and then ended up switching bikes, so I didn't bring them over with me. I got the Magic Mary for $70 and the Nobby Nic for $60 or so. They retail for nearly $100, so as far as MSRP goes, they are on the high end of the spectrum, but as it is for mountain bike stuff, you can almost always find it for less than that. Starting with things I really liked about this combo was the grip. The Magic Mary in particular links up really nicely in turns and corners. It offers a really consistent and confidence-inspiring grip, and I loved it for that. Along with that, the Nobby Nic offered solid grip, was pretty consistent and reliable, and was really pedal efficient, so it made a good rear tire. As far as feel goes, the Schwalbes are great. They grip well, aren't too heavy, and even though they aren't listed as the widest tires, at 2.35 inches wide, when pumped up to riding pressure and measured, they actually come in wider than the 2.5 Maxxis Minion I have on my bike currently. Which sounds a little funny, but that just comes down to the fact that Maxxis measures tire width pumped up to 60 psi, which you're not going to run a mountain bike tire pressure at. So when you run at the actual riding pressure, it's a little bit less, whereas the Schwalbe is actually the actual width it's listed at. The negatives, however, start to come a little bit with reliability. I no joke slashed the Nobby Nic on my very first ride on it, about 40 minutes in. And it wasn't on an overly technical, rocky or rooty trail. It was on just kind of a machine-cut flow trail, which is not a place you'd expect to slash a tire. But I kind of just chalked it up to, okay, that's bad luck, it's something that happens. But then further on down the road, I slashed another one. So in 3 months of riding, I went through 2 Nobby Nics, which just seemed a bit excessive. I then started to talk to some of my friends who had ridden on Schwalbes too, and they had said they had the same issues with some of the tires puncturing or slashing earlier on in the lifespan than you would expect or definitely hope for. Which, if that's something that's an issue, like I said before, they do have the highest MSRP on the market, or some of the highest. So if that's something that's an issue, that is a pretty expensive fix to be replacing as much as I had to replace it in just 3 months. So with Schwalbe, as far as ride quality goes, they're great. I never had any issues with grip or confidence while riding them. The issues started to pop up more with the Nobby Nic in particular and its reliability. I just had too many issues with slashes and punctures, and too many people corroborating on those issues, telling me that they had had the same problems, for me not to worry a little bit about its longevity and durability. Next I rode the Specialized Butcher and Slaughter. This tire combo came stock on my current bike. They both MSRP for around $60 on Specialized website, and as such come in at the cheapest tires in this test. The Butcher is 2.3 inches wide and has a solid tread. The knobs aren't the biggest or the most grippy, but it gripped pretty consistently and I never had any real issues. I definitely wasn't blown away by it, but it never gave me reason to worry either. The Slaughter is also 2.3 inches wide, but it's a semi-slick, meaning it has high side knobs to maintain good rear braking power, but shaved down center knobs for increased pedal efficiency. It definitely did pedal a bit more efficiently, but outside of that I wasn't much of a fan. On dry or hard-packed terrain it was fine, it gripped pretty well and braked when I needed it to. The big problem though came when it was muddy, wet, and loose. Traction with the Slaughter becomes harder to find and kind of unpredictable. I found it slid a bit more than I would like. It definitely isn't unrideable, but the compromises for increased pedal efficiency are clear when it comes to this tire, and aren't ones I'm totally willing to make. You lose some of the gripping confidence that you would normally have for added pedal efficiency or speed when rolling. And that just didn't seem worth it to me, and I don't feel like I made enough gains with how much faster rolling it was than some of the other tire combos to want it as much. As far as durability goes, both these tires are great. They're the grid model, so they have the grid casing, which is just beefed up sidewalls and an overall beefed up tire. So I never had any issues with punctures or slashes or anything of that sort. In 6 months of riding them, it's harder than I did the Schwalbes. This is a good tire combo with solid amounts of grip in most conditions. But when it came to a little more wet or loose conditions, I didn't love the feel of the slaughter, and I felt like it kind of slid around on me and lost traction. But as far as durability goes, I think they're some of the best on the market. Finally, we'll talk a bit about the Maxxis tires I'm running now. I have the Maxxis Minion DHF 2.5 up front and the Maxxis Aggressor 2.3 in the rear. The Minion DHF is probably one of the most universally loved tires. In my opinion, is really no different than most. It offers loads of grip through all conditions, hooks up really nicely in turns, and has a really consistent feel. And then out of all the rear tires on the test, the Aggressor has been my favorite. It has a really solid tread with a nice consistent feel and also a predictable slide. It feels much better in turns or tight corners than I felt like the Slaughter or the Nobby Nic did. It's also still pretty pedaling efficient. Rather than have high side knobs and a completely shaved down center knob, it has a medium height knob across the board to offer good pedal efficiency without sacrificing too much grip. Both tires have also been really dependable. I know for a fact I've taken some hits from sharp rocks and roots and have yet to have issues with punctures or slashes. The only negatives I could really point out are out of all the tire combos, this tire combo is probably the least pedal efficient and the heaviest, but only by a small margin. I was able to get the Minion DHF for $60 and the Aggressor for $50 and the MSRP around $75, so they fall in the middle price point of all these tires. With the Maxxis tires you find a great mix of grip and overall reliability, but lose out on some of the pedal efficiency of the other combos. It's likely pretty clear by now which one of these combos wins in my book, but that's the Maxxis tires. They offer great grip, great confidence, have been really durable, and they're not too heavy. Out of the three combos I've talked about, they are probably the heaviest and they are the least pedal efficient. But it's by such a slight margin that I don't think it really holds them back enough to drop them any lower. Secondly, I'd probably go with the Schwalbes. As far as grip goes, they're right up there with the Maxxis tires. They're really confidence-inspiring, really consistent, and they feel good, and they're not too heavy. I'd say they fall in the middle of this category as far as pedaling efficiency goes. But that Nobby Nic just left so much to be desired with longevity and durability that takes away a lot from the combo. So maybe you could go with the Magic Mary and try a different rear tire and have better luck than I did. Finally, I would say the Specialized Butcher and Slaughter. The Butcher is good, it's solid, it's not the best front tire, and out of these three I'd say it was my least favorite, but it's solid, there's not really any big complaints, it just doesn't wow you. And then the Slaughter, I just don't love the feel of the semi-slick. That's not to say everyone would dislike it, so maybe if you like semi-slicks and you know you're a big fan of the way they feel, this would be a good combo for you to check out because they are really durable and really reliable. This has been my thoughts on best enduro mountain bike tire combos. If you got any questions or thoughts, let me know down below in the comments. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you guys joining me today. Don't forget to subscribe. I got more videos coming to you each week. Catch you guys in the next one.